This is the Horse Radio Network. This is episode 35 of Horse Tip Daily, a different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you one day at a time. Today's topic is sponsored by Equestrian Collections, the whole universe of equestrian shopping at your fingertips. Visit equestriancollections.com. Enjoy today's tip. I am Glenn the Geek here, back with you from Lexington, Kentucky, and welcome back to Horse Tip Daily. Don't forget you can follow us on Facebook. We have a fan page there. Every day you'll be alerted when the new show is posted, and you can listen right there on your Facebook page. And also, you can follow us on Facebook at Equestrian Collections fan page. Just search for Equestrian Collections at the top, and we also post all the shows there. And there's some very active discussions that go on her fan page as well. It's sort of like a little forum going on over there at Equestrian Collections fan page on Facebook. Today we have back with us one of our favorites, Jessica Phoenix. Jessica qualified for the Olympic Canadian Eventing Team in 2008 and is one of the upcoming stars in Canadian eventing. She also has a large lesson program in Canada and is one of the most delightful people I've ever had the opportunity to work with. We will get Jessica on right after these few words about our friends at Equestrian Collections. As I mentioned, you want to hop on over to Facebook and follow them there. Just search for Equestrian Collections. And they have a $1,000 giveaway right now going on. Basically, you go over to their Facebook fan page, click on the wish list at the top of the page, and you just basically load up your wish list with $1,000 worth of stuff that you'd like to win. And after September the 9th, you have till September the 9th to enter. After September the 9th, she's going to pick a winner, and you're going to win the whole $1,000 worth of stuff. How cool is that? So stop on over to equestriancollections.com anytime you need something. You're buying something for your horse, something for you, something for the barn. Equestrian Collections has it all. Just stop on over to equestriancollections.com. Well, let's welcome eventer Jessica Phoenix on the line. Why, Jessica, welcome back to Horse Tip Daily.
Thank you.
You know, it's always fun getting together with you. We always end up talking about stuff other than the tip, though. Did you notice that?
I have noticed that.
Yeah. Well, that's a curse I have.
We're getting a track record.
That's a curse I have. You know, your husband does an interesting thing, and you know there aren't too many eventers that I would venture to say that have husbands that are in the dairy. He's dairy cows, right?
He does, yes.
Yeah, which is very unusual, I think. Now, did you have second thoughts when you first met him and went, "Oh, cow farmer"?
No way.
Oh, really?
Free milk all the time.
Oh, there you go. Fresh milk. You don't even have to deal with pasteurized.
That's right.
Now, do you have other animals on the farm too, or is it just the cattle and the horses?
We have just cattle and horses, and then a huge cane corso dog.
A who dog?
It's a cane corso. It's a type of mastiff.
Oh, okay.
He's about 160 pounds.
So when your horse goes lame, you just take the dog across the cross-country course?
That's right. I just ride on the dog.
Well, now, Mastiffs were bred as hunting dogs or something, weren't they originally? I believe so.
This particular one, it's from Rome.
Oh, okay.
So it's actually an Italian Mastiff, and it was bred to keep a family safe. So it's a very protective dog.
Wow, well, that's great living out there on the farm.
Yeah.
So no chickens and
safe.
Ducks and goats and all that?
No.
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 All right, what have you got for us today in the way of a training tip?
All right. Today I want to talk about stretching your horse out before and after you're exercising.
You know, and that seems like such a logical thing, but humans don't even do it for ourselves.
Exactly. Yep. I think it's such an important tool, and I think it gets passed by so often. A lot, even especially when you're trying to up their work and make them stronger. I think a lot of the times, if you ever have a horse that gets like tender in their back or they get a little bit muscle sore, I think you really have to pay attention to stretching them out. Always when I go out and get on my horses, I have a good 10 minutes of just stretching them and getting them to move and supple them laterally, all in the stretch position. And what's really interesting is that when you come out and you get on them, you'll feel where they're a little bit stiff from the work that you've done the day before.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes they'll come out and they're a little bit stiff to the left, so you have to take a little bit more time there. Or you'll feel they're not moving through their back as well as they could. So you may only get to stretch them that day. You may not even be able to bring them up and work them.
Okay. So,
But just really, like, use that as a benchmark, and every day when you come out, you can tell maybe you pushed it a little bit too much the day before, or if they feel great, maybe you can push them a little bit harder today. And just in your stretching, try and get really good transitions forward and downward that you can feel them actually stretch through their back and step under with their hind end. And then once you get that on circles, walk, trot, canter, I would usually progress to some lateral work and start leg yielding them in the stretch position, and just really get them loosened up before you start to bring them up and work them harder.
do you do any, I don't know how to describe this, but do you do any ground stretching before you ride?
Myself or with the horses?
With the horse, yeah. Well, I'm hoping you do, but so I meant with the horses, like with their legs and things. I know my wife always stretched their legs before she rode.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, you do that? Okay.
Yeah. A lot of stretching, like even just taking their front legs and pulling them forward when you're on the girth up.
Yep.
Stretching them out that way. I once had a horse chiropractor that showed me a great stretch with their hind end. Actually, a couple of great stretches. One is when you take the hind leg and you pull it forward towards their head.
Okay.
And you'll see them stretch out through their toe as you pull it forward. And then you can also take that and stretch it backwards. And when they actually relax and stretch all the way out, their toe will drop right down to the ground. So that's a really good tool in the cross ties.
And when you're stretching the back legs like that, I think everybody's seen the front leg stretch, but when you're stretching the back leg like that, your hand where you're holding is down by the hoof, the top of the hoof there?
Actually, what you're doing is holding just above the fetlock.
Okay, right.
And so you can hold there and sort of have one hand by their hock and just sort of encourage them to stretch out that way.
Okay.
And then another great stretch before you even get on the horse is, have you ever heard of the carrot stretches?
What, for their neck?
Yeah.
I've never heard of it called a carrot stretch, but it makes sense.
A lot. If you take a carrot, you can actually stretch them a couple of different ways. You can bring the carrot right around to their hip on both sides and get the horse to stretch and bite a piece of carrot on the hip both sides. And that will stretch out their neck all the way through their rib cage and their back.
That's a great idea, yeah.
Yeah, and you can take it up to their hip on both sides, and then you can also bring it right around closer to their wither, depending on how much of a stretch you need. And then the second stretch, which is actually a really cool one because sometimes they end up bowing.
Okay.
is when you take the carrot and you can come down between their two front legs.
Oh, I get right. Okay.
And what they do is they'll actually stretch down. And have you ever seen a horse do the dog stretch before?
What? Now that I don't know what the dog stretch is.
You don't know what that is?
No.
It's when their front feet are out on the ground and they sort of stretch right back.
Oh yes,
so
yes. Yep.
They're stretching right back onto their hind end.
Yep.
And that's a really good one that you can do that with the carrot as well. So you just keep bringing the carrot between their front legs towards the ground.
Oh, and their
head will come right through their front legs, and they actually stretch right down.
Which is, I think, how they teach some of the trick ponies to do that. Actually,
exactly.
Do that. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, I think we had about 12 tips today.
That's great.
And you know what I think too we forget about is this isn't just for endurance horses, but if you're taking your horse out for a hack for 2 hours, through the mountains, it's a good idea to do that too, don't you think?
Exactly. Even at the end of your ride, it's a good thing just to leave them on, just to have a nice stretch, either on their back or the stretches that we talked about doing before you get on. And certainly the next day they're going to be a little bit tight, so it's a good idea to just stretch them out again.
And we'll have to do another episode sometime on making sure that you stretch.
Right. We always think more about our horses, huh?
Yes, every time. We feed them better. We buy them better clothing. All of that stuff. All right, Jessica, we thank you. Where can people find out more about you?
You can go to jessicaphoenix.ca.
And we do have a bio of you on our website at horsetipdaily.com. You can see all about Jessica. We have links to her as well. And also, if you want to hear more about Jessica, she is our Spotlight Rider on the 2010 radio show. She is our Spotlight Eventer for the World Equestrian Games coming up next year, and we're keeping an eye on her progress towards qualifying there. Well, we wish you the best of luck with that, Jessica, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Great. Thank you very much.
Well, it's always a delight to have Jessica with us. She'll be back periodically with more training tips. If you like Jessica and want to learn more about her, visit jessicaphoenix.ca. And Phoenix is spelled Phoenix.ca. Jessica is also, as we mentioned, our Spotlight Eventer for the WEG Show on 2010radioshow.com. You can hear her initial interview that she did with the 2010 radio show on episode number 42. You can just go take a listen to that. Well, we have a Geek's Pick for you today, so stay tuned. We had the absolute pleasure this week of interviewing Templeton Thompson. If you don't know who Templeton Thompson is, she's been creating quite a sensation in the horse world with her music. She's a singer-songwriter out of Nashville, Tennessee, and Templeton is a delight. We had her on the Stable Scoop show this week with her friend Patty Hall. That show will come out on Friday. And I have to tell you, she just was a delight. She has great music. And her song, Girls and Horses, has become quite a hit on YouTube, and it's being passed around the internet and on forums and on blogs. It's just become quite a sensation. If you like country music, if you like horses, and you like the combination of both, then Templeton Thompson is the one for you. I thought we'd give you a treat today, so sit back, take a listen. This song has hit the hearts of horse women and girls everywhere across the world. Just sit back, relax, and take a listen to Girls and Horses.
Yeah, yeah. Well, she talks about him, dreams about him, thinks about him all the time. She's got to have him, be lost without him. You can see it in her eyes. What is it? What is it with girls and horses? She says, now when I was a young girl, they were my whole world. They were my one safe place. And now that I'm older, still lean on their shoulders. I still feel like that girl some days. What is it? What is it with girls and horses? Sometimes I wanna give up, throw up my hands and say enough's enough. But that's when I go and saddle up and run away till I'm okay, until I'm not afraid of staying in the game. Maybe that's what it is. With girls and horses. Well, I talk about them and I dream about them. I live to love them and I love to ride. I'll always have them, be lost without 'em. There's magic in those gentle lines. What is it? What is it with girls and horses? What is it? What is it with
Well, that was Templeton Thompson, and we had Templeton on the Stable Scoop Show. It'll be out on Friday this week. Check it out. Go to stablescoop.com and hear the interview with her and Patty Hall. It was a lot of fun, and she is such a sweetheart. And thank you so much, Templeton, for letting me play your song. You can find out more about her at TempletonThompson.com, and that's also where you can buy her music. Well, you can drop me an email at glenn@horseradionetwork.com, and don't forget to stop by the website at horsetipdaily.com for our show notes. And don't forget to check out all the rest of the shows on the Horse Radio Network, like the Stable Scoop Show we just talked about, at horseradionetwork.com. Well, I'll be back again tomorrow with another new expert and a different horse tip. Until then, stay safe, everyone.